Well, hello there, everybody. I am going to show you how you can use your calculator to come up with a line to model some data. Okay, so we're just going to go through this example. It's in your notes, so you can follow along with that. So we have this table that shows the total sales from women's clothing stores in the United States from 97 to 2002. We need to make a scatter plot of it on our calculator and describe the correlation. So the first thing, if we look at step one, it says press stat and select edit. Enter years since 1997. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So for 1997, we're going to enter 0 because that would be 0 years since 1997. 1998 would be 1 year since 1997. 1999 would be 2 years since 1997, and so on. So on your calculator, you're going to hit that stat button just like it says. When I press a key on the calculator here, it'll turn red, so you can always tell the last key that I pressed. So we're going to hit stat. I'm going to hit enter for edit. And then if there's stuff in your lists already, you can just arrow up so that it highlights the L1, then hit clear. And then when you arrow down, it'll clear that list out. We want to do the same thing for list 2. I'm going to go up there, highlight it, hit clear, and then arrow down to clear it out. Now, list 1 is going to be our X list. And it's really important on your calculator that you make sure that you enter the years in list 1, and we're going to enter the dollars in list 2. Okay, it's really important that you make sure you keep those straight. So in list 1, I'm going to put in my 0 for 1997, the 1, enter, the 2, hit enter, the 3, the 4, and the 5. Make sure you hit enter after every one. Then I'm just going to arrow over to list 2, and I'm going to put in the 27.9. It's really important that your 0 and 27.9 are on the same line, so you got to keep the same order here. 28.7 has to match up with the 1, and so on and so forth here. Okay, so make sure they all line up. Okay, once you have that, the next thing we're going to do is make a stat plot. So we're looking at step 2 now. So you're going to hit the second key here, and then the Y equals key, which is in the top left. All right, so we're going to use plot 1. And you want to just double check, make sure that plot 1 is the only one for 1, 2, and 3 that says on. Okay, if plot 2 or plot 3 say on, you want to go in there and shut them off. Okay, so we're going to look at plot 1, so I'm just going to hit enter there. I know it's on because the on is highlighted. If I wanted to shut it off, I could go over to off, hit enter, then the off would be highlighted. It wouldn't work. Okay, so make sure the on is highlighted. For type, you want to make sure the top left one is highlighted because that's the scatter plot. And then make sure that your X list says L1 and the Y list says L2. For the mark, that can be whatever you want it to look like. So if you want your mark to be little squares, make it little squares. If you want it to be little plus signs, you can go over and highlight those. Whatever you want. Okay? So once we have that all good, the next step here is to press zoom and 9. And what that's going to do is automatically going to set your calculator up to display your scatter plots. We're going zoom. And now you can either just press the number 9, or if you want to arrow down to the 9, and hit enter, you can. Otherwise, again, you can just press the number 9. Okay, I had an equation in mind, that's why I got the line. I just want my scatter plot there. So there's my scatter plot. And when I look at that, I can see that it has a positive correlation. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is come up with the equation for the line. So to do that, we go back to our stat button. And then this time, instead of edit, we're going to go over to calc. And we've been working with lines, so we want the one that says linreg, which stands for linear regression. The ax plus b is just like our mx plus b that we've been talking about. So again, you can either just press number 4 to select linear regression, or you can arrow down to it. Now here's where your calculator is going to look a little different than what this calculator is going to display. On your calculator, as long as you put your data into list 1 and list 2, you can just go ahead and hit enter, and it's going to work for you. Okay? As long as your data is in list 1 and list 2, just hit enter. If you would have put it in one of the other lists, you would have to tell the calculator which lists it was coming from, but since you put it in list 1 and list 2, it will automatically take it from list 1 and list 2. So if you go ahead and hit enter, you're going to get your equation. I'm going to have to hit enter a couple of times here. And now it tells me y equals ax plus b. It tells me what a is, and it tells me what b is. Okay, we're just going to round those. So if you see here, this is what they rounded the equation to. So the 1.357 blah blah blah, we rounded to 1.36. That's our slope. And the 27.7238 blah blah blah, we rounded to 27.7. Okay, now we want to graph that line. This is going to be our line of best fit for those points that we graphed. So I'm going to go to the y equals button. And in y1, I'm going to type in that equation. So 1.36. Now for the x, you want to use this key right next to your alpha key that has looks like an X, a T, and an O and an N on there. Hit that, it will put your X up there. And then plus 27.7. So make sure it says 1.36x plus 27.7. And then all you have to do is go ahead and graph it. Hit graph. And there's your line of best fit for that data. And by doing it this way with the calculator, everyone has the exact same equation, the exact same line. Now on your test, you'll have a little bit easier. You won't have to do the scatter plot on the calculator. You'll do the scatter plot on your paper, but you will need to use the calculator, put in the data to get your equation. So hopefully this helps.